Well, today, the 3.5-year-old ActionSA launched its election manifesto at Ellis Park in Johannesburg, which they have labelled as a milestone. Now, the party said it is ready to deliver upon its promises to grow the economy, to create jobs, while other parties like the ACC also presented their blueprint to the people of South Africa as we head towards the May 29 national as well as provincial elections. Political analyst Dr Levy Ndou is online with us now for more analysis. Doctor, as always, thank you so much for your time. Let's look at other parties that actually launched their manifestos today. Let's talk about their impact as well as relevance of these smaller parties as we go to the polls on the 29th of May. What exactly do you think their purpose is? What are they serving, according to you?
Good afternoon, Alicia. Good afternoon to the viewers at home. Thank you for having me. There are two main purposes why smaller parties are participating in these elections. And one of those being that it has become very easy for individuals and political parties to participate in the elections and get a representation in government or in parliament. So most people who feel that they can be able to make an impact or get access to governance or to parliament, they know that if they form a political party, they might be able to get a seat or two or even more or a smaller percentage that will enable them to be able to be in government. Number two, which most people who are in the dominant political parties might be jealous about, is that this is an expression and a demonstration of democracy in action. That many people who felt that they would have been isolated from the mainstream political parties, they can also now participate freely and ensure that they go out campaign and then they represent their parties in parliament. And that would indicate that our democracy in South Africa is working and everybody is able to join a political party of his or a choice and freely participate in that exercise.
And then, Doctor, is it a good or a bad thing for these parties to be part of these elections? And where do you see them long term? Do you foresee their potential longevity in the current political space?
There are two factors as well here. The first factor is that if indeed they participate and they make it, they would actually be excited because they would have reached their goal of ensuring that they get representation in parliament. If they participate and they do not make it, it will also be an indication that everybody is allowed to participate, everybody is free to participate, but there is also a possibility that you cannot be able to make it. And the second one would also indicate that even when you have participated and you could not make it, you should therefore be able to accept that as a party, we have tried, but unfortunately, the masses or the ordinary citizens could not support our party. And that also is a clear demonstration of democracy in action.
All right, let's now focus on the ActionSA manifesto, Doctor. Promises to grow the economy, end load shedding, deal with corruption, reinforce the rule of law, as well as increase border security. The party is focusing on similar promises as other bigger parties, but do you think that their plans are feasible? And the party also recently unveiled its shadow cabinet called Team Fix South Africa, and these candidates are said will be on their parliamentary list should they be elected. What I found interesting is that they have actually roped in representatives who have worked in various sectors, like ex-police officers for the police ministry, ex-doctors for the health ministry. So do you think this is an effective approach, do you think?
Well, I think what most people should actually look at would be to look at what has been the manifesto of ActionSA in the 2021 local government elections. And most of the issues that are being raised by ActionSA today are the very same issues that ActionSA raised in the 2021 local government elections. What I find to be very interesting about ActionSA is that this is a party that is not interested in losing its own identity and what they actually stand for. All of us are aware that wherever you hear the leader of ActionSA, Mr. Mashaba, speaking, he would always be talking about ensuring that there's a rule of law and that there should be ethical leadership, and also talk about ensuring that the borders in South Africa are protected, talk a lot about illegal immigrants that are in the country, and of course, growing the economy. That has always been the message of ActionSA, and ActionSA is quite consistent in its own message. The approach of having certain individuals who could be professionals, influential people in society, could work towards the benefits of ActionSA. But at the same time, you need the very same people to be able to go out and be able to work the ground, because elections are about numbers, and the very same people that you see or you put as faces of your party should also not just sit there, but they should also be able to go out and multiply numbers for the party.
A very quick one, Doctor, before I let you go. I mean, Mashaba promised 4.8 million jobs. Interesting also is how they had a group of their numbers called the Tinswalos in reference to the president's Sona analogy. But they said they pledged to this group that their real life experiences will actually improve.
Indeed. What is quite interesting is that all the different political parties are talking about job creation, and my expectation is that it might not be possible. My expectation is that immediately after the elections, all political leaders should be locked in one room, and then they articulate how they are going to create these jobs, because all of them are talking about job creation. For once, if they can work together, because they all appear to be having a plan for job creation, we must face the end of lack of jobs in South Africa. And I also expect that ActionSA had to touch on job creation, because that is one of the major challenges facing South Africa today.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Political analyst there, Dr. Levy Ndou.